Sup you guys, what is going on? It's me, it's Jake, and welcome to another reaction video. Today we are getting into another top 10 video. It's the top 10 unexplored places on Earth. Now, I lived in a place called Alice Springs. It is explored, but it's extremely remote and extremely barren. In fact, it holds about 25 or 30,000 people. And you have to drive 1,500 kilometers, that's about 900 odd miles, to the nearest major city. Along that way you might hit a few country towns, but we're talking literally isolated from any other major destination with any level of civilization by 1,500 kilometers either which way you go. Alice Springs, look it up. This video came across my screen not too long ago. I put it in my Watch Later playlist and here we are today. It's by watchmojo.com. They've got 23.5 million subscribers and the description reads, "Whoever said that there's nothing left to discover? For this list we'll be looking at the most isolated and secluded places on the planet that we have yet to investigate in depth or fully understand. Your countdown includes Devon Island, Fjordland National Park, which I believe is in my homeland New Zealand, Shortstay Island, and more." Interesting. I think it's about time we watch this.
Who said there's nothing left to discover? Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 unexplored corners of the Earth.
If this is Fiordland, the Fiordland that I've just visited about 4 months ago when I was in Queenstown, that's going to be pretty special.
For this list, we're looking at the most isolated and secluded places on...
And yeah, it's pretty damn isolated. You have to, well, there's no service for a start, absolutely no service. You can't get the internet, you can't get reception, and when we went there we had to take a camper van, we had to take everything with us, and it was pretty damn epic, I'll tell you that much. So if they do include that, I'll be really interested.
On the planet that we have yet to investigate in depth or fully understand. Most of these locations are challenging to reach due to environmental conditions and or geographical barriers. And because of these limiting factors, some believe they could very well be home to animal species, plant life, or other such secrets yet to be discovered. So without further ado, let's embark on an adventure into the unknown. Number 10, Fjordland National
Boom! There it is! I was right there. And I went out on the Milford Sound. They might talk about the Milford Sound. Well, basically, Milford Sound is where these mountains of Fjordland meet the sea. And I learnt that a fjord is a valley that is filled by water, I'm led to believe, something like that. What I did learn about these exact mountains is that the angle at which they go under the level of the water is pretty much parallel with what they are now. So they'll go down below the water on this angle and they're not going to bottom out like that. They're going to continue to go down at that depth, which means that even with quite a narrow sort of valley here, it's still pretty damn deep. And I thought that was pretty cool.
New Zealand. Fiordland National Park is the largest of its kind in all of New Zealand, encompassing 4,868 square miles. The park takes its name from the many fjords that define the landscape. Deep trenches formed long ago by glaciers.
Okay, well that would have been an easier explanation. Deep trenches formed long ago.
The fjords cut through rainforests, mountains, and lakes to awe-inspiring effect. Despite it being a national park, much of it has yet to actually be explored due to its inaccessibility and massive size. New plant and animal species almost certainly reside there.
Oh my god, when we were out in the Milford Sound, which is actually, well, Milford is, I guess, a township or a place within the Fiordlands, and it's completely cut off from reception, like I said, completely cut off from the outside world. There's only one road in, one road out, and you got to go through a massive tunnel, if I remember correctly.
Just waiting to be discovered. Fun fact, scenes from the Lord of the Rings trilogy were actually filmed in the Fjordland.
Look, they had to use that clip, didn't they? Good old Gandalf the Grey.
Number 9, Shortstay Island, Iceland. Beautiful in a desolate sort of way, this island is a
looks like a meteor crater.
Relatively new addition to our world. Shortstay was formed by volcanic eruptions between 1963 and 1967 off Iceland's southern coast. Largely free of human interference, the island is closed off to the public, Only authorized researchers have permission to land. As a newly developed island, it was initially devoid of life. Soon enough, however, different types of birds, insects, and plants began to appear on the island. And that's what makes it so exciting from a scientific perspective.
That is pretty exciting. So it was completely void of any plants, animals, anything, but we see some greenish grass there, which is, how's that happened?
Here, researchers have the unique opportunity to observe the process through which local ecosystems are established.
Huh.
Number 8. Underwater caves.
I wonder how long that's taken.
In Mexico. Riviera Maya has some of the most spectacular cave systems in the world. It's also home to some of the longest cave systems in the world, such as the Sistema Oxbel A and Sistema dos Ojos, freshwater sinkholes commonly referred to.
Holy shit, imagine that. What a place to explore.
As cenotes provide natural access to
You would literally feel like you're in another world, an underwater world.
these networks of caves. But while the cenotes themselves are often popular with travelers, the depths of the caves are a different story entirely. The deepest and most remote parts of the caves have never been open to the public. And considering the ancient Maya civilization used to throw human sacrifices into these cenotes and possibly artifacts, who knows what's waiting to be discovered down in the depths. Number 7. Tsingy de Bamaha National Park, Madagascar. Tsingy is the term used to describe the steep, pointed limestone structures and plateaus formed by groundwater erosion in this area of northwestern Madagascar.
Isn't that amazing?
Not a gassy word. Tsingy roughly translates to where one cannot walk barefoot. As it turns out, however, the meaning applies to more than just barefoot exploration, but arguably any sort of exploration. The terrain is very difficult to navigate.
Holy
Numerous
shit!
formidable barriers to those looking to
I tell you what, a Lord of the Rings film would have done really well there. Look at that, bro.
uncover the park's secrets. Which is a shame because scientists already know there are many endemic species, i.e. plants and animals found nowhere else on Earth. The national park's namesake rock formations
Oh god, I'd hate to think what kind of species you'd find down there.
are so dense and inaccessible, in fact, that they're sometimes called forests. Number 6. The Mount Mabu Rainforest, Mozambique, Africa. Hard though it might be to believe, this rainforest only came to the attention of the scientific community in the 21st century. Prior to that, it was known to locals, but its unique flora and fauna had yet to be documented.
What was interesting about this site was the surrounding land was heavily cultivated, and then the crater containing rainforest was very dense and intact.
Holy, look at that!
And I thought that was a little bit strange because there should be evidence of human disturbance.
This high-altitude rainforest, because of the distinctly challenging geography,
So no one can climb it, which in turn means no one can get inside of it.
requires extensive planning to visit. And because of the role Google Maps played in identifying and understanding the area, it's commonly referred to in the media as Google Forest. Though it wasn't easy to get there, upon entering the rainforest, researchers have been thrilled.
That is cool, man. That is a real adventure, isn't it? That reminds me of the crater that's in Western Australia that was the subject of the movie Wolf Creek. And I've always wanted to visit it. In fact, yeah, I believe it's a meteorite site, a meteorite crater. But the sheer size of it is unbelievable, and it was within reach. I think it was about 900 kilometers away from Alice Springs, the place that I mentioned at the start. And it's somewhere that I'd still love to visit. I cannot remember what it was called. I'm gonna have to look it up. Oh shit, it's actually called Wolf Creek Crater. You're kidding me. Let's have a look at this. I didn't actually know that Wolf Creek, or Wolf, well, W-O-L-F Creek, the movie, was actually named after the crater. I mean, I should have known that, but I didn't. Look at this. The Tanami Road, or the Tanami Road. And I tell you what, the Tanami Road leaves, or turns off, the Stewart Highway about 40 kilometers out of Alice Springs. So I pass the Tanami Road a lot. And I'm led to believe if you just continue down that road, it's not the easiest road, you're gonna need a four-wheel drive at the very least. But if you continue down there, you will eventually find your way to the Wolf Creek Meteorite Crater National Park, which holds the Wolf Creek Crater. It's a well-preserved meteorite impact crater in Western Australia. The crater averages about 875 meters in diameter. So that's just giving you a bit of perspective. 60 meters from rim to the crater floor. 200 feet. It's estimated that meteorite was formed about... the meteorite that formed it oh my god, this is interesting. It was about 15 meters in diameter and had a mass of about 17,000 tons. So a 15-meter meteorite formed an 875-meter crater. That's unbelievable. It was brought to the attention of scientists after being spotted during an aerial survey in 1947, investigated on the ground 2 months later, and reported in publication in 1949. The European name for the crater comes from a nearby creek, which was in turn named after Robert Wolfe, a prospector and storekeeper during the gold rush that established the town of Halls Creek. So it's accessed via the Tanami Road south of the town of Halls Creek. And if we can just get a picture or two up, there it is. Have a look at that. Have a look at that. Now if that doesn't look absolutely fascinating to you guys, I don't know what will. I really don't. Anyway, let's get into it.
Thrilled to discover a largely untouched ecosystem, including various
I've always wanted to visit that place.
known species.
When you enter into a forest, everything changes. The forest is cool, the canopy is high and it's very shady. Life is buzzing all around you.
And there are likely many more left to be discovered.
To actually find a hidden rainforest, which turns out to be the largest in southern Africa, shows that we don't have all the answers and we don't know what's out there.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
Number 5, the Northern Forest Complex. Myanmar. If you're looking for untarnished wilderness and/or a place
Look at those flowers.
where you're sure to make new discoveries, you couldn't ask for much
I mean, this looks like a Lord of the Rings set as well, doesn't it?
better. Because Myanmar has been engaged in the longest civil war in history, the Northern Forest Complex has been largely off limits for some time. The silver lining of this situation is that it served to preserve the natural forests, but the scientific community is naturally anxious to get in there and explore. And even as the country opens up, many challenges remain. The dense jungle has no roads or paths, and the terrain is rather inhospitable, with scorching heat, torrential rain, and mountain peaks thousands of feet in height. Number 4, Sundong Cave, Vietnam. The largest known cave in the world. Han Sundong is so massive that an entire city block could fit inside it. The cave is estimated to be somewhere between 2 and 5 million years old, but it was only discovered relatively recently, though a local man is credited with
And so a city block could fit inside the biggest cave known to man. Is that big?
First having founded in 1991, Sundong Cave didn't receive international attention until 2009 when
Looks like Aladdin. That reminds me of Aladdin. Aladdin comes in, goes down that staircase into the world, the Cave of Wonders. The Cave of Wonders, that's what that reminds me of.
when the British Cave Research Association, or BCRA, organized an expedition.
It's an absolutely amazing atmosphere and it's hard to take in. It's
Wow.
breathtaking and absolutely huge.
Wow.
The cave has many unexplored regions in its depths and likely holds countless wonders. As if that's not enough, collapsed portions of the cave allow in enough light that it even has its own forest.
What I want to convey is the feeling of being there, about walking through this
It's got its own forest. Let that sink in, guys. That's crazy.
pristine, beautiful place, this cave in Vietnam, and making people realize that places like this are part of our heritage. And
Vietnam. Geez, that's not even that far off the beaten track for me. I've been to Thailand, I've been to Bali. Vietnam was next on the list.
Number 3, Vale do Javari, Brazil.
E uma imagem às vezes vale por 1000 relatórios, por 1000 palavras. Tá aqui.
The Vale do Javari region in the Amazon rainforest isn't uninhabited, but it is one of the most isolated places in the world. While many of the other entries on our list today are hard to reach or environmentally challenging, the reason that it goes largely unexplored is the approximately 2,000 to 3,000 indigenous people who live there.
The dense Amazon forests below are home to one of the last uncontacted tribes left on Earth.
Divided into tribes and villages, they've had very little contact with the outside world.
Far out.
And when they have, it's typically gone badly.
Oh my god. Yeah.
The new discovery is in the same general region.
Can you imagine that? Oh my god, completely uncontacted by the outside world. Now, to be completely uncontacted is something else. That's kind of unfathomable, really, for me.
Or 2 years ago, Brazilian Indian researcher José Mireles led a mission that captured these dramatic photos of uncontacted Indians aiming arrows at the airplane.
At this point,
Oh shit! They're aiming arrows.
are also thought to likely lack immunities to common illnesses. As such, the privacy of these groups is protected by a federal agency, barring outside
I mean, they'd have their own language. You wouldn't be able to communicate with them very easily.
country.
Certainly wouldn't know English.
Number 2, the Star and Nakanai Mountains, Papua New Guinea. Because of the various geographical barriers, much of Papua New
Look
Guinea
at that
is, from a
place.
scientific perspective, unexplored. Entire forests of flora and fauna have yet to be documented. As such, it's likely home to wonders that we can only imagine. The Star
Look at that! It's a whole level of forest and a massive hole, and then there's another level underneath with what looks like a river of some sort running through it.
Mountains, for example,
It's like a 2-story forest.
are especially hard to visit due to the natural rock formation known as the Hindenburg Wall, a limestone barrier that rises to approximately 1 mile above sea level. The Nakanai Mountains, for their part, are so remote and undisturbed that in 2009, researchers found approximately 200 species never before seen in just 60 days. Over the last few decades, researchers have found upwards of 1,000 new species on or around the island of New Guinea.
I mean, the area in Papua New Guinea provides a key watershed for thousands of people who depend on its fisheries and natural resources, and of course, most basically, water.
Before we explore our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Greenland, sparsely populated, and large sections of the country are rarely visited.
What is the top pick going to be?
Cape Melville, Australia. Massive boulders make this rainforest extremely difficult to reach.
Wasn't expecting that.
Hranica Abyss, Czech Republic. The deepest flooded freshwater cave in the world, the bottom of which has yet to be confirmed.
I'm going to be honest, man. Diving going underwater like that actually freaks me out. It really does. But that opens up, I mean, the other half of the world, right? Half of it's above water, half of it's below water. And to actually be one of those guys exploring it in places that not many people have before would be a real experience. I'd absolutely love to learn how to dive and feel confident. I mean, the only reason why it freaks me out is because I'm not confident. And you just can't help but think, is my oxygen tank going to last?
Gangar Punsum, the Bhutan-China border, a contender for the highest unclimbed mountain on Earth.
We're on a 30-degree incline, but this is the easy part. What concerns me is the boulder field 500 meters above us.
The caves of Meghalaya, India, due to its remote location in northern India and the sheer size of the cave systems.
Come on.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Hit us with
You have
number
the
1.
option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Devon Island, Canada. At 21,331 square miles, Devon Island is the largest uninhabited island on the planet. To put that in context, it's only about 500 square miles smaller than the country.
Look at the contrast between the icebergs and the surrounding hills. Whether it is inhabited or not, that's pretty amazing.
But that's not all Devon has going for it.
What? This is an island?
The island's environment is remarkable in that it actually closely resembles that of Mars. Because of the uniquely intense conditions,
That doesn't look real. You tell me if that looks real or not. It doesn't. Not to
NASA
me.
uses this polar desert to train for manned missions to the Red Planet. Though there is a research station that's run by the Arctic Institute of North America, no one lives here permanently. In fact, the conditions are so inhospitable that only a small number of birds and mammals can survive, as well as extremophiles, organisms that thrive in extreme environments. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to
Wow.
be notified about our latest videos.
Right, we'll stop it there. I certainly did enjoy that. That was awesome. That was really cool. Look, I've watched a couple of top 10 videos that I've actually not brought the reaction to this channel because I've thought halfway through, no, I'm not enjoying this. And those ones are the ones where the host is standing in front explaining it. I love it when they do a voiceover in the background but they don't show the narrator in the video. Now that's just me, but I feel like the narrator, you know, coming back and forth on the screen puts you off. It certainly puts me off, but I bloody enjoyed that one and I hope you guys did too. So if you did, please hit that like button. If you want to subscribe for more, please do. And I'm going to try and sort this light source out so you don't have to look me in the eye like that. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Anyway, that's me with my hood on, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Have a great night.